broadcasting live out of a basement in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. My next guests are a Milwaukee-based indie rock band. However, they met and they formed at UW-Oshkosh. Their latest album is called Into the Pudding. I'd like to welcome Diet Lite to Fox Cities Core. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Very, very well.
And this is your first Mile of Music. Did you attend before?
No, this is the first time any of us have ever experienced what is Mile of Music, and it's living up to the hype so far.
You must have seen over the years, like friends posting and pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
from the festival.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think the first time it came on my radar personally was the Rolling Stone article, and then since then we've met a bunch of musicians and friends that have played here, and I've kind of tuned in.
The Rolling Stone article is interesting because it didn't make a big impact on me, but I guess I failed to realize just the breadth of like how many people learned more about Mile from reading that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I remember like we tried to submit the last couple of years, like just like through like the auto submission on the site, and it'd like, you know, fill up in like 10 minutes that first year after the article. So we missed the cut there, but we found a back door in this year.
And you guys, as far as the formation of the band, you formed at UW-Oshkosh. Mm-hmm. Where you just bumped in randomly to each other down there at some point?
Yeah, we all kind of separately ran into each other.
Me and Kelso were like on the same floor freshman year and just became friends because we were into the same music. Mm-hmm. And
then we met at a Halloween party, but like kind of drifted away after that, and it took a couple years for us to run into each other. And me and him worked together at the C-store in Reeve Union at UWO for all our fellow Titans out there. We met and started talking about music, and the band probably would have started way sooner if he hadn't gotten fired from the job about 3 weeks into it. I was like, oh, this guy, we have the same music taste, like we're going to be best friends. And he got fired, and it took like a year to come around, and they were already working on music together. Kelso was in like the music program, so we had like open access to the studio there, and they kind of roped me into what they were already working on, and then it has slowly molded into the Diet Lite we know and love today.
The first time that you played with them, they had shown you what they were working on prior to you agreeing to be a part of it?
I don't even know if you guys did. We had jammed a couple times, just like no real like, you know, just to jam. And then I know you guys had already been working on the Osh Vegas EP, or the songs that became that. And I think you guys just kind of brought me into the studio.
It was for the cover that we did of Hotel Yorba.
And there was and I remember there was another one. What was it? False Idols. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
I remember you guys brought me into like, and I remember that was the first time we like wrote something together. We were like trying to spitball lyrics in the studio. But yeah, I had played in like a bunch of bands in like high school and like in the Chicago suburbs where I'm originally from, and I didn't have anything going on in Oshkosh, so it was kind of like we joined forces, and
for evil.
Yeah. For nefarious purposes.
Yeah, we're a nefarious band up to infamous ends.
The two of you are from Illinois, right?
Yeah, we are. We bill ourselves as a big Milwaukee, Wisconsin rock and roll band, but we're fibs down in our core. So
Can you say that on the radio?
I've lived here for like 14 years now, though. I moved here right before high school.
That doesn't count.
I've been here for a good I was 4 years, now I'm like 3 years. I'm 7 years of my life. That's pretty good. I think I've rubbed that stink off me.
Are you all in Milwaukee now?
Yeah.
So interesting. So you're all in Oshkosh, and then collectively you all moved down to the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, there was some.
Max moved around a bit.
Yeah, I moved around a bit, but these guys roped me in after a while, but no, we all lived together in Milwaukee. Got a dingy little artist pad. No, it's cool. It's great.
River West.
Yeah.
When you were going to school at UW-Oshkosh, did you get out and see some of the other bands that, because Oshkosh is such a music rich area in itself.
It's so crazy. My first couple years at Oshkosh, I think all of our experiences were kind of a little different, but like for me, like my first couple years, I like didn't know, like I was not tuned into the music scene at all. And then when we started doing stuff, it was kind of like we felt like we were kind of on our own little island, and we were just like hanging out with people that, you know, that wasn't necessarily what they were striving to go find on a Friday or Saturday night. Like we were with probably the keg house party crew more than we were the, you know, basement show crew.
We brought those people into
but we did. And then
like, we started playing house shows and like inviting those friends, and like, oh shit, this is actually cool.
Yeah, and then like it was literally like our senior year, like right before we were leaving there, we found like we met Shuby, who are still like great buddies of ours, and like started meeting like the present age guys and like Smoke Free Home and just some of those like those stalwarts of the Oshkosh scene. And it was like, oh my God, this was like happening under my nose this whole time. I actually remember it was like Oshkosh pub crawl my like junior year, and Horace Green was playing a house show. I remember I was like walking with a big group of people, and we were just going from like some kegger to another, and I heard like live drums and live music, and I was like, wait, I never hear that in Oshkosh around here. And I just like was like, it was like what's it like in the Odyssey, like the sirens where like the one like sailor just like, you know, goes off. It was like me. I just like veered from the group and like was just like transfixed, and like I was like, oh my God, there's like house shows and things going on here, and that kind of opened that up for me.
Well, Oshkosh too, they had the Oshkosh Main Street Music Fest. I don't think they've done that the last year at least.
No, and we never did that. I remember we saw Shuby do that one year, and we were like, gosh, we gotta get on this. But no, we still go hit Oshkosh. We played when was the last time? We played Jambalaya a while back. No, we played Reptile Palace this spring.
Months ago.
So that was good to get back to our roots, you know.
How do you feel about the 10 o'clock start time?
For Reptile, it works. There was some venues in Milwaukee, or there was like one venue in Milwaukee that does like the 10 o'clock start, and they're like for like a dingy dive bar, it works. But this was like kind of like a more like nice like brewery, like brew pub type vibe.
They're not open anymore.
Yeah, they're not open anymore. I'm veering around.
I think it's because of the start time.
Yeah, I don't think it's because of that. There's probably a lot more reasons, but no, it worked. For Reptile, it worked, and we had a bunch of people there. It was great. We played with Shuby and President. Was it Shuby and President Age? Yeah. And our buddies, OK, down in Milwaukee. And James.
Those bands are starting to get up here more often, and I know President Age is playing at Model Music this year, and in my opinion is one of the great rock bands from this area.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're so good. Yeah.
Do you guys? I said indie rock in the intro, but your style is like a combination of so many things. I think the first time I heard of you, it must have been the Osh Vegas EP, because I was looking for some stuff to play on Code Zero Radio, and I was trying to get an interview with you guys, but it seemed like there was a transitional phase occurring at that point. And how would you classify it? Because it's kind of changed.
It has.
Over the course
it's really evolved. It's like every record we've put out has been a little more like,
I feel like it gets more honed in.
This is more us. Like that Osh Vegas EP was like, they pretty much recorded that by themselves. I just sing on that one song, and then Seems to Be was like a good mix of stuff that you guys had already been working on, songs that I brought to the table. Oh, excuse me. Or the self-titled and Seems to Be. Into the Pudding was kind of the first, like, it really felt like this is like what the band sounds like. This is like what what we do. It
was still kind of like genre-wise all over the place. I feel like the next thing we put out is going to be more
very concise.
Succinct.
Yeah, succinct's a good word. But I don't know. We just call it rock and roll. Like, there's garage rock. Like, I think I feel like we don't sound like a punk band, but we have like some punk energy.
I feel like garage rock is like an umbrella term that's kind of non-descriptive, but it also does kind of describe what we do. Because it's not exactly punk rock, it's not exactly rock and roll, it is kind of somewhere in the middle of that, which is what garage rock is, kind of, if you think about it.
It's heavy rock and roll.
Yeah.
There was this one dude that wrote about it saying that it was shape-shifting garage rock.
Midwest dark matter.
Cool. Yeah. The dark matter of Midwest rock was some Chicago crowd surfer article that was cool. But I don't know, it's changed. It's changing.
The next one's gonna be
disco,
grunge, doom, funk.
You had me at grunge. So then in 2021, you released Seems to Be the Way It Tends to Go. And you said that the latest album was you guys honing in on what you are, but as far as that album goes, where does that fit in as far as...
I think that was the first like album where like really like every song was a song that we like played together, like us in a room. Like some of the Osh Vegas and like self-titled songs were definitely like studio built songs that like we can't really recreate as just like the power trio lineup. So Seems to Be was kind of the first time we really like kind of took our set and recorded it basically. And that was our pandemic album too. That was like our when the world shut down in 2020, we hunkered down and just like recorded that record basically. So
were you in Milwaukee at that point?
I wasn't. I was in Chicago. I moved there for a while after we graduated, and they were living up in Milwaukee, and I would drive up every weekend basically to record, and that eventually led to my moving to Milwaukee. I was like, I should just live here.
The pandemic must have bought you a little bit of time as far as going out and playing while you're in that transitional phase, because there really wasn't any expectations.
We were just about to like start hitting it hard. I feel like we were like playing a ton of shows before the pandemic, and then we were about to really kind of like... I remember we got booked at X-Ray Arcade right before that happened, and that was like the next tier of venue, because we were playing like dive bars and we couldn't get booked at X-Ray and Cactus. We were about to get booked at X-Ray, and then the pandemic happened, and we're like, damn, we were about to like, start playing some real shows.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise, though. I think because we were able to like kind of sit on our haunches and like really like record it, really hone our live show. So like when shows came back, we were kind of like,
it wasn't because we released the album and then started playing these shows that summer of 2021.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like a perfect re-entry back into the scene.
Yeah, I think we lucked out with a lot of timing of that, because I think obviously that was tough for a lot of bands that were already like had the gears turning and we're gigging hard and like had a following, whereas like we were kind of like just getting our start in earnest, and that kind of gave us some time to like get all the pieces together and then put it all out there when it was time.
As far as your live shows go, when you were out there and hitting the scene, Kelson and Max, you guys switch instruments during the set. Why is that? Is it just because of parts that you know how to play, or
strife and pride? No, we used to have a fabled fourth member that was lost to the sands of time.
Yeah.
One show.
And he was the bassist. We were both playing guitar, and now he's not in the band anymore because he was lost to the sirens or something like that.
Honestly, he just wouldn't respond to things in the group chat, and he wasn't like as into it as the rest of us were. So like, I remember we were doing the video for The Remedy, and like he just didn't show up to it. And we're like, well, I guess this is the band now.
Yeah. So after he was abducted by aliens, alligator aliens.
Yeah. I think it works to our advantage though. Like, it's a unique thing that.
Yeah, I'm really glad he got eaten.
Yeah, it's really worked out well for morale and also for publicity. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We just both didn't want to play bass, so then naturally we both played bass.
Yeah, it was like, all right, do we get someone up to speed on these songs, or do we just learn the bass line? There wasn't time. We were moving too fast. We were all living together at that point. Like, but yeah, no. And in terms of like how it gets determined, it's like the songs that I write, I'm usually playing guitar, or I am playing guitar. The songs that Kelso writes, he's playing guitar, and then Evan writes songs as well. We all write the music. And it used to be me and Kelso would kind of just bicker over and argue and like pick. Now Evan's taken. He assigns who gets to play guitar and who gets to play bass on his songs.
Professor Masali.
Yeah. Has there been any talk about maybe just getting a fourth member that plays bass?
We've debated it, because like, I don't know, there's so much you can.
This is part of your identity now, though.
Exactly. That's why I don't think we ever can. Like, it'd be we can do some one-off stuff maybe. Like, and we've like had other people like play stuff on our records. Like, we had some friends play on Into the Pudding, just like adding keys and guitar here and there.
I'd rather get someone playing the symphonium.
Yeah, I feel like get a theremin player,
Ooh, that's niche.
But no, I feel like we can't change it now at this point. And there's definitely times where it's like, oh man, it'd be really nice if I could just like not play guitar and just like sing and like jump in and out. But I don't know. It forces innovation. It causes us to cover the ground in whatever way we can.
So when you're writing songs now, the older songs, you're putting them together with two guitars. Now you're writing songs with one guitar in mind, or when you're recording, you're still putting two.
For the last few years, like pretty much since this modern era of Dead Nice, of Diet Light, it's always kind of been that, like, all right, we're writing for one guitar, and like I feel like every time we record, we go into it with the mindset of like, all right, we're gonna try to capture our live show and like what we sound like live, and like strip it down, and then inevitably we get in the studio and we're like, oh, we could add another guitar here, like we could add some like fun keys there, and then it like starts to take a life of its own on. But no, foundationally it's definitely like trying to keep it to that just like guitar, bass, drum, or one guitar, bass, drums, but we'll layer stuff and just like make it sound
like a recording, like a professional recording.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always go into it with like the intention of writing it like guitar, bass, drums, and then like letting when we like come together, just kind of letting it go from there, just see where it goes when we, I feel like, anytime we all like take a song to the band, it kind of becomes a different thing, because everyone puts their own personal touch on it. It evolves.
We have a comment here from Tyler Tolman. Sherry Lane.
Yeah.
Would be sick to get Kev Daddy on the bass.
Kev Daddy.
He wants to learn drums.
Yeah, he wants to play drums.
He's been trying to get me to teach him how to play drums.
He'll come over every once in a while and just whack away on the drums. I keep telling him, and I tell, excuse me, this to everyone who wants to play drums, is play Rock Band. Mm-hmm. That's how I learned how to play drums. It's like the same
perfect training regimen. And it makes it interesting too.
So
it's like a good
gamifies it.
It's a good entry level purchase too. Like you can get a drum set for $100.
Dang, Kev was supposed to be here. For those of you who don't know, Kevin runs a like a music local music kind of promotion blog site page called Mid Park, and he's also our de facto tour manager, gopher, good buddy guy. But yeah, he was supposed to be here, hanging out with us, but
couldn't get anybody to watch his dogs.
Yeah, gotta watch the pups. Should have just brought him with.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Tyler chimed in there. So that will lead me to this question. Tyler's part of the Green Bay scene, which we talked about the Oshkosh scene. Mm-hmm. Milwaukee has its own group of bands. Mm-hmm. Do you guys find yourself trying to get out of the band groupings and into different groups of bands in different areas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we definitely like leaned on the Milwaukee scene like early on and just like, built our name, I guess, doing that, and just like our, we cut our teeth, playing the dive bars of Milwaukee with, kind of the same people every other week, and they're like some of our best friends like in the scene. But now we definitely like, we play Milwaukee a little bit less, like, we try to like be strategic with it and just like play around the region a lot more. Like we're not traveling like crazy far this summer. We toured earlier in the summer, but we're playing all over Wisconsin. Like we're up here. We played like Kenosha and like Racine like earlier this summer, and just like trying to hit.
We did play Green Bay too.
Yeah, we did play Green Bay
Played at
too.
Badger State Brewing. For 3 hours.
Yeah.
So for 3 hours, are we playing all original songs? Or did
it was we
played
played some covers, but we literally played our entire repertoire. We played like 40 some songs over the course of 3 hours.
I've got to ask you about Modern Haunting. They were on here and they just want to play with you guys so badly at Weezfest. Is that going to happen? I mean, they put a case of beer on the line, and I don't know.
They did.
They said 2 cases of beer.
Yeah. When is that again?
I think it's in November or something. Late November.
Well, when they were here last time, they said communications had cut because we asked for an update. They said communications were going for a while, then they stopped. They said they drank the beer that they were offering, but they were replacing those with new cases. So it sounds like the offer's still there.
I don't know. They drank the beer. I don't know if I can.
I suppose if you look at the principle of it.
Yeah. It would be fresher beer though, so I guess they're actually doing us a favor.
True.
Perchance.
We'll get back to you on that.
Into the Pudding, the latest album. When you were writing songs for this, it's interesting you baked in some instrumental tracks throughout the album. Mm-hmm. Were you thinking maybe that was a risk to put that in there if you're trying to hold attention to somebody that might not have a the patience to sit through an instrumental track?
I think we'd already pushed into the 45, 50-minute mark, like, because we were like, we had that debate where like, should we even do these instrumentals? Like, this is already a long album, and we like added it up, and the instrumentals account for like 3 or 4 minutes of music.
We were looking at,
kind of like, it doesn't really, like, let's do it. It's gonna make it more of a cohesive thing. Really that is the most common critique we get of that record. Like, that's a long record.
If you think it's not even that long.
It's not that long, but like,
yeah, people are like, it's a behemoth.
Dude,
okay.
But anything, to be fair, anything over 45 minutes.
Yeah, that is kind of
like,
anytime I look at an album on Spotify, I see
it's over 45 minutes. I'm like,
do I really have the time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So how do you, what do you feel about the current music trend to everything's moving to digital, the short attention spans? Are you guys into records or, listening to something from front to back when you're listening to music yourselves?
I usually try to listen to albums. When we're on the road touring, we'll like put
That's like
albums
kind of
on
strictly
and
what
stuff.
we do. It really does depend on the type of listening I'm doing. If I'm just like have music on in the background, like throughout my day to day, like I'm just shuffling stuff, and it's like if I'm listening to a record, I want to like, sit down and like kind of, in the car is perfect. Like that's kind of what you're focusing on. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We've definitely like haven't been great about like, like trying to game the algorithm and, release a song every 6 weeks and, promote it. But like,
for that whole rollout of that,
Of Into the
Pudding, we were originally releasing singles and EPs, and then Into the Pudding itself was like a conglomeration of those EPs. Yeah. So I thought that rollout was really effective.
That is true. We did game it like that. I guess it's just been a long time since we put out music.
Yeah.
We've just been gigging, man.
Yeah. Been busy. Got to take care of the wife and kids.
That is part of the reason why we did do those instrumental tracks, is because we had like released a bunch of the music already, and we were like, we need something more to kind of tie it all together, so it's not just a bunch of stuff people have already heard,
Yeah.
Kind of, just tie it together with a little icing on the cake, as it were.
Yeah, make it more of a treat.
Mm-hmm. It is so interesting because like those like it was basically 2 EPs, and then we took those 2 EPs, added like 5 more new originals, and then those instrumentals as well, and that became the album. And now it's just like all those songs are just Into the Pudding songs. That's the album. But still, like, kind of, I have to remind myself. And I remember when we were putting it out, like, we're like,
it's John Told Bob Told.
Yeah, it's like, it's not an Into the Pudding song. It's a John Told Bob Told Rob song, or a Dumb Bird song. Like,
that was part of the reason to include those instrumentals too, was to help bridge the gaps, because we were recording those at different studios and with kind of different mics and setups. So the idea was to kind of lessen the transition and make it less obvious that they were, completely different sessions.
I guess in that respect, it did the job. I had no idea you recorded it in multiple studios.
Yeah. Nice.
Which ones did you record at?
We recorded at a Disaster Piece in Oshkosh for the John Told Bob Told Rob songs, and then we did a Red Shed in Watertown with our buddy Evan Yoakum. He's in a cool band, Secret Menu, if you know them. But
I think they're
a lot of them in our stairwell at our old house too.
Yeah, and then we just did drums there, and then like the majority of the record, like vocals, guitars, was recorded in our the Lighthouse, our old
an old Victorian house in Brewers Hill in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was great.
It's haunted.
We got kicked. Yeah, we got kicked out for throwing shows in the basement.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah.
How did you settle on the Into the Pudding title for the album?
It's it was like a line I got from this book, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, which is about like Ken Kesey and like the Merry Pranksters and the acid revolution of the 60s. But there was like a line in the book where they'd say like someone's like into the pudding, or like, and it's kind of just like they're with it, or like they're tuned into like what's hip and happening. And I kind of liked that as like a, I don't know, just like a, a motif for like our band and the scene that we're trying to create, and just like kind of the Midwest rock and roll thing that's happening right now. But yeah.
It also just sounds like interesting if you don't know that. It's just
exactly.
Like, what Into the Pudding? What does that mean? Like,
it's subliminal.
Yeah, it's a catchy name. You guys played the first, I believe it was the first local sellout at the Vivian. Am I saying that right?
Vivarium.
Vivarium.
Yeah.
That must have felt pretty good.
That was really cool.
It was fun.
It's a
Yeah.
nice venue.
They gave us a cake.
They did. They gave us a cake.
Did the cake say anything on it?
It said congrats
on the first sellout.
Yeah, we sold out, baby.
But no, that was so cool. Paps has been pretty
Good advocate for
yeah,
us.
exactly.
Yeah.
And just like
And the
local
local scene,
Milwaukee
yeah.
music. But yeah, no, we actually just we recorded some demos for the new record at Vivarium just this past like couple weeks. A couple of the guys that work there kind of just like are helping us out with like trying to make this new record. So
A couple of the
so
production
there's
managers.
stuff coming.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
So was it they did it there? Was it live recorded? Like were you on the stage or did they have a studio there?
No, we just like set up on the stage. We like mic'd up the amps in like the green, like different rooms in the green room, and then yeah, we were just all playing on the stage, and then live tracked all of it, and then me and Kelso went and like overdubbed vocals another day, and
Like 13 songs over the course of like 2 6-hour sessions.
Yeah,
It was
we
just
just
disgusting.
ran into the ground.
They
but
sound
yeah.
pretty good though.
yeah, they sound
It
really
sounds
good.
pretty good.
I think I have a nodule on my vocal cord.
So where did the name Diet Lite come from? Where did you guys get that?
A school project.
A tome that was bestowed upon me by
came from the heavens.
the fathers of
Rock.
yeah.
Chuck Berry came and told us.
Dio,
ghost of Chuck
Berry and Dio came down to me in a vision. Chuck said diet, Dio said white. And
We actually
then
had
they,
asked-
and then they merged together into one Chuck Berry Dio being
Yeah, and then they
and-
gave us tattoos.
yeah. And that's the gist of it.
Do you guys have matching tattoos?
We do.
We actually do.
Yeah, you want to see them?
Sure.
We got these
I don't know how we're gonna get.
we got these dumb bird tattoos right here. Can you see that?
I don't know if the camera is showing it.
There you go.
There we go. That was one of the EPs from that turned into the pudding. Was Dumb Bird, and our friend drew that little bird. And we all got it tattooed. Kelso has
Well,
a
no,
diet.
we
No,
got
Chuck
the
Berry's
tattoos and
ghost
then
did
named
it.
the EP after
Yeah,
the
that's right.
tattoos because it was the mascot for the house venue we ran because the house was called Lighthouse, so there was a bird like a seagull mascot, and then we got it tattooed, and then we're like, oh, what should we name the EP? Oh, let's name it after this, thing.
Dumb bird.
Yeah.
That's quite the commitment. Did you guys have conversations before, like where are we gonna put it?
No, it was very spur. It was very spur of the moment. It was like after a
It was
show
stick and poke
one
in our
night.
living room
Yeah,
type
it was.
thing.
It was a
It was a memorable night.
knee jerk decision.
That was the
I don't
night
regret
that
it though.
the pipe exploded in our basement while we were having a show and water got everywhere. And we
Yeah.
had to turn off the water main and didn't have water for 3 days in our house.
Excuse me, who are you? Just incited an absolute violent pit, or not violent, but it was a
tumbling.
torrent. And then someone got thrown into a speaker, and the speaker flew into the water pipe, and then it exploded.
That's a great story. You guys have played a lot of great venues in Milwaukee, Turner Hall, Summerfest. I mean, do you have a favorite?
Cactus Club.
Cactus Club.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good one.
love. I mean, Turner Hall was crazy. That's like a once in a lifetime experience. Hopefully not.
Cactus
Maybe
Club is like the home base.
Cactus Club
Feels
is like the
it feels
heart
like
of
it feels like
scene.
the center. Yeah.
Well, they treat like Mild Music. They treat you good, but the Cactus Club, they treat the artists.
Oh,
Really
they treat them really well.
There's
The
a
green
little-
room's great. They like
Let you stay
great
there if
great
you want.
deals. Miles crazy. This is like no shade to Cactus Club, but like this is like the craziest treatment
So when
we've
you-
ever gotten.
I was just wondering, how do they finance this whole deal?
Yeah.
Like, where's it coming
money.
from?
sponsors
Drink
and
sales.
donations from music fans. They're Fab Four, Fox Communities Credit Union, Kat and Brian
Shout
Gottlieb, Fox Cities Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Bose.
It is so cool how the whole city is just like so like you can tell it's like everyone's invested in this and like trying to make it happen.
Last night
like,
felt crazy, and I've heard that Friday and Saturday are even more like crazy. So.
Yeah, we're like it's just starting.
it's
Yeah.
just ramping
So
up.
I can't wait to see it tonight.
So when you guys rolled into town, you said you saw stuff from friends posted on social media in the past, but did it live up to what you saw
Oh,
online?
absolutely. I mean, we rolled in like Thursday, like 2:00, like everyone's still at work, and it was like kind of rainy. We're like, what's gonna be the vibe? And then we played at Chadwick's last night at like 8:00, and it was like packed to the brim before we even started playing, and like
Everyone's into it.
Very immediately got the vibe of like what I keep telling everyone, like is like this just feels like a good old fashioned Main Street Wisconsin bar crawl, but there's just sick bands at every single bar you go to. And it was cool. Like we just in Thursday night, like we played and we got to run around to a bunch of different venues, see some awesome bands. Like it's totally living it. It's exceeding the hype.
Have you been utilizing the app?
Yeah, the app's great. The app's great. I didn't know what the heck was going on until I downloaded the app.
Yeah, it's if people haven't downloaded the app, it is really handy because you can save the shows you want to see and then pull up your schedule, and then just the shows that you select will be listed.
I wonder if we can see how many people like RSVP to our
There's got to be somebody that's got access to that information. So you've been taking advantage of all the perks that they offer.
I went to Jensen Chiropractic yesterday. Got all adjusted and twisted.
Yeah, this morning I went to the PAC and they were doing custom moldings for earplugs, like the really nice ones. Like they send them in and then you get it perfectly fit into your ear. Except when I got there, I had too much earwax in my ear and they had to scrape it out with a scoop.
A double win for you.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. Actually.
Can you hear like more frequencies?
Yeah, more than I knew I could.
Dude, I need to get that done.
Do you guys wear earplugs when you play typically?
Yeah,
I should be better about it. I'm in the crowd. I always do. On stage, I feel like it fucks with how I sing, but like, it depends on the venue.
Do you know what'll mess with your hearing?
I know.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, I know.
Well. So you guys have done a lot of big things in the last couple of years. It's really like sped up, and of course I'm going to go into the whole thing where Evan was playing that Weezer lick over and over for like was it 3 years?
Yeah, just under 3 years.
So I was at that Weezer show. What 10,000 people? I don't know how many people were there.
It was just about 10,000 people.
Just about.
And were you guys? Was the whole band at that show?
We were there. We weren't allowed to go backstage, so we had to get in like plebeians. But
I'm sure you guys probably asked Evan to ask, and he probably said, "I will," and then came back and said,
"I did."
They said no.
He did. They let us bring a photographer, our buddy Bridger. He came with, and he like took video and stuff. The video you probably saw is the one he took. Or no, you were there, duh. But any video that anybody who's listening saw is probably the video that Bridger took, but he was the only one allowed back there.
Yeah,
it was weird because I knew about. I think I read something in a newspaper that you were going to be doing that, and then when they actually rolled it out there in the show, though, they just started playing like. I think they had some issues with the video screen, and I can see if you weren't aware what was going on, you'd be a little bit confused.
Like, who's this guy? Like, why?
But it was great because then there you were. You popped up and you nailed the.
Yeah.
Was it hard to hear? Being in front of that many people, like in that situation, were you wearing in-ears or anything?
Yeah, they gave me like an in-ear and a pack and everything, so I was able to...
Was that your own instrument, or...?
I brought my guitar, and they were like, no, this one sucks. You're going to use Brian Bell's guitar. You're going to use Brian Bell's $5,000 guitar. I was like, all right, that's fine.
And then after the show, did you get to hang around with the band a little bit?
No, they were like elusive the whole time. Like the whole time I was backstage, I was just kind of like sitting around, and I think they were all in their campers understandable. They're on a couple month long tour. They're resting, but I wish I got to like hang out and talk with them a little more. But I got a picture with Rivers, so
that's cool.
Yeah,
and what it did for the band. I mean, you guys got, you're already going up anyways, and this just kind of helped it.
Yeah, big boost.
You're not going to do anything like that again, are you?
I gotta figure out some way to revitalize that TikTok account.
Dude, you were. What did you post? Something like, I don't know. You posted something that was like, if you're here for the Weezer content, like.
No, that's an idea that I've got. Like, I need like a video where I say like, hey, the Weezer stuff is done. This is Diet Lite page now. Get used to it, honey.
All right, Mile of Music. You guys played Chadwick's last night. You've got one more show coming up?
Yeah, we're playing Rookies tonight, 7:30.
7:30 to 8:20. And Rookies, of course, is on one of the back roads. I forget exactly the address right now.
I don't remember.
They've got a cool outside stage.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to go look at it yet?
I haven't checked it out, but No, I know it's gonna be outside, which I'm stoked for. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be nice.
That worked out for you guys because yesterday all those outside stages were closed down.
No, we walked out and we're playing. The band that's playing after us, we saw them at Rookies. We saw them last night at Appleton Beer Factory. The Simplicity, they rocked.
Yeah, they were
freaking awesome. So stoked to be playing with them.
Are you guys trying to network while you're at the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. We were like debating. We were like, there's like multiple bands we like kind of wanted to go see. We were like, do we like one of us should go to this band, one of us go to this band. You talk to them, we'll talk to this guy. We didn't really follow up on that or follow through on that, and it kind of just turned into let's have a beer and hang out. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's so cool. Like we're seeing we've ran into so many like friends we know from like Madison and Milwaukee, just like at the hotel and like around. But no, we gotta make some more connections, do some more business while we're here.
And we're right at the end of the interview, but one last thing about Mile. If you're invited back next year, it's kind of a no-brainer question. Would you come back?
Oh, easy. I did. Yeah. We even when Ian booked us for this year, we got the 2 sets, which freaking freaking awesome, great slots, 7:30, 8 o'clock both nights. But I emailed him. I was like, you can we'll take more sets. You can give us as many as you want. If anyone drops out or anything.
Has anyone come up to you about pop-up shows or adding stuff on Sunday?
No, I do it. I meant to say it on stage. I was like, if anyone wants us to do anything, we can make arrangements. Someone did reach out to us about a after party thing on Sunday where.
Oh, at Appleton Beer Factory, I think.
Is that at Appleton Beer Factory?
I don't know. It didn't specify in the email.
There might be a lot of after parties going on because people don't want Mile to end.
Yeah, so totally.
Where can people go to find out more about Diet Lite?
Instagram.
The internet.
The internet.
No, yeah. Instagram's the hub. We're on Facebook. Evan's on... Well, you guys are both kind of on Twitter. Or X. The TikTok is Diet Lite now. No Weezer content anymore.
But it's still Diet Lite _Evan.
Yeah. And then we got an email list too. You can sign up for that. Newsletter. Gazette. The Diet Lite Times. Yeah.
Do you find the newsletter to be a good way to communicate with fans of the band?
Yeah, we should use it more. It's really nice
because direct communication.
Social media gets so noisy.
People
it's hard to cut through.
People are on different things, so it's they're
it's
not
the
on
one
this.
thing where you get it sent directly to them.
Mm-hmm. We should start getting people's cell numbers and sending texts.
Yeah,
we should have been getting emails to we should do it tonight. We should get emails tonight.
We've been slacking on a couple fronts. We forgot to re-up on stickers, so we're low on stickers. We just went and printed out a bunch of handouts to give to people.
Did you have a lot of CDs and things like that?
Yeah, we got CDs.
We should bring one down here for you.
Oh yeah, we totally should. We'll snag you one.
Awesome. How did the CD sales go last night?
They really good.
6 of them.
Better than usual. It's definitely it's a CD city here. That's what you're saying.
Well, then as far as the limiting of CD players, like you said, you listen to stuff in the car, and it's not. They're not even on most computers now, so it's.
No.
They're like business cards.
My car is 2008, so it still has a CD player.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
It's kind of I don't know. We look at it. It's it's more than just the music. It's the whole packaging and the whole kind of physical experience, I guess, of it.